I'm here with Michael deMeng, who is a magician with his imagination. So this episode is all about brushes, and boy, have you brought some amazing brush creatures? What would you call these?
Well, these are good brushes gone bad, because everybody has those brushes that, they get all dried out, and, they have stuff stuck to them, and you got to figure out what you're going to do with them. Well,
you mean other than throw them away?
Other than throw them away,
yes.
Exactly. So that's exactly what we're going to do, is we're going to take a little bit of clay, some found objects, and turn them into creatures.
Give them personality.
You got it.
Let's get started.
Okay, so we've got a brush. This is the brush we're going to use. This is kind of a nice bristly brush, and of course this will be the hair. I mean, that'll work out well. Of course, this is if you really want it, you can gob it up with paint and get it all roided out if you want. This guy we're going to just take little bits of him. I want his mouth. So I think I'm going to just cut that off. So with that, I'm going to grab a rotary tool and a cutoff wheel, and I might even cut his ears off too, but let's just see what we got.
So it's interesting, it's a doll head, I assume.
Well, yes. I don't think this is a real elf, in case you were wondering.
I hope not.
Okay, so yeah, turn that up a little bit, and we're just going to slice it off.
So is that hollow inside, or?
Yes, as far as I can tell, that's hollow.
So you're really, one of the things that you do is you look at objects and you decide what looks like it might be interesting to you.
That's exactly right. So in this case, his creepy little nose and his creepy little mouth are what look interesting to me.
Now, this is obviously a plastic, not porcelain or any other kind of material, so that you can use a blade that's specifically for plastic.
Right, and you can obviously find blades that will cut porcelain, but it's way easier to use plastic or resin or something.
Right, and I was going to assume it's kind of like cutting porcelain tile then, where you need to have like water on it, and it just, the whole thing.
That's correct. So this is easy. All we need.
Oh my gosh.
See, a little face.
Surgery, plastic surgery. Oh, you look really good like that.
I've always wanted a smaller mouth, so. So we're going to use that, and that's going to go right there. So if you'll do me a favor and start mixing some clay, and then what we'll do is we're going to sort of assemble this in a way, and then we're going to start globbing that together.
So we're going to, I like your technical terms. We're going to glob that together.
We're going to do some globbing. Now, I am having you do that, but unbeknownst to you, I have already mixed some clay. Oh, okay. Well, I'll still mix it because it's fun. And I like to see that it goes from these two separate colors into what you have, which is one nicely blended color. Right, and so you want it to look like this. And now that it's mixed up, I can use my bare hands.
Okay.
And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to start pressing this into the surface.
So you don't, this is the adhesive, I guess. You don't need any additional adhesive.
Here's the deal, okay? The more rough, open, coarse, or even little notches a surface have, the more this stuff will stick to it. So a totally slick, bendable surface might not be the best, but
so
there's
like a plastic straw.
Yeah, exactly, would sort of suck, unless you wrapped it around it. So in this case, I'm gonna start bringing it around, and then I'm gonna sort of push it in. Gush. I'm going to gush it in.
You're going to mush it and smush it.
I'm going to mush it and smush it.
So cool. So then you just mush it right into there.
Right.
And now I assume we don't have to worry about the color of anything because we're going to paint it in the
It's all going to get painted, because this is just the initial stage. So right now I'm just laying these basic pancakes
So
of
how
clay
long
down.
do you have to work with this after I've finally finished mixing it? Do you have like 30 minutes?
You have about 2.5 hours for that to
so
totally
if the phone
cure.
rings, you're fine.
Right. So no rush. You have about 2.5 hours, and you then can just, after it totally cures, and you could actually sand it down.
By the way, I just have to point out how amazing it is that you created very much an eye look just by pinching the clay around that glass eye bead or whatever it is.
It's a technical term called pinching around the glass eye bead.
I like that technical term. It's maybe a little long.
Yes, well, you could break it down into, the abbreviations of the letters, but I can't even remember what that was. So and I'm doing the same kind of thing about pinching, but I'm doing that now with the actual
eyelid.
And we can do some, exaggerate some chubby cheeks.
So unlike traditional clay, you don't need to like score this and add slurry and all that kind of stuff to make it stick.
You could add a slurry, so you could water it down and smooth it into the surface. That's certainly helpful. Now the other thing you could do, now let's imagine you don't want to make a good brush gone bad.
Okay.
Instead, let's say you have your very special brush. This is my favorite brush. I love my brush. I have to have my brush. But you actually use it. Well, you could also make a special handle for it. So your special brush, you could come in and put a handle in, and with that, you could say, oh, I need my special brush, I need my special rib cage design in here.
Well, you could certainly put your name in it. I'm sure you could embed like a metal charm that had something. You could put,
design patterns.
Yeah.
All these sorts of things you can do with it, and we can,
Or I have some brushes that have really thin handles, and I want them to have fatter ones. I could actually kind of build out. I've mixed this for you if you need more, by the way.
I probably will. So,
there you go.
So what I'm going to do
Teamwork.
is I'm going to. Thanks you so much. You're the bestest. So, and here I'm just going to knead this clay. I need this clay. And so.
By the way, am I supposed to close these containers, or is it okay for them to sit open?
The cool thing about this stuff is, okay, you want to know a secret?
Yeah.
I like never ever close my clay.
Well,
Now I don't want to tell. I would never tell that to a vast audience.
Well, that's like I never clean my paintbrushes. Let's not tell anybody that.
Yeah. I see.
These are art confessionals.
That's right, art confessionals. But the thing is, it's ideal if you can close the containers. But
if you don't, you don't.
If you don't, you don't, and they don't go. It's really the mixing of it
that makes it go.
Pure. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm just grooving along.
And embedding, like, I can see now any leftover parts you have from other projects. It looks to me like these are little skeleton kind of bits.
Yep.
But you could definitely take little pieces. I assume you will not throw that doll's head away, that you will do something amazing and terrific with it.
When I look at this, I even look at like the eyes on there.
Yeah.
And I could possibly have used those instead of these, nice glass eyes, because those are pretty good, right? So those are pretty decent eyes. I don't know that I would reuse the
eyebrows.
Well, those are kind of stupid, because I could make those up.
Okay. So if we look at these finished ones, I can see that have you built these teeth?
Those, you know what those are? Those are from a Shrek costume.
Oh, wow.
You know how like you buy the little antennas and then they come with that, and then use that. You could use dentures, you could use whatever, and all nose.
So cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And is there any kind of specific paint or just any paint?
I prefer to use acrylic paint. That's great. Oil paint takes too long to dry, so use an acrylic paint.
I'm impatient too, Michael. This was great.